For the past month, I've been loving Mortal Kombat 1. Despite what you may see on my streams of me yelling at other people, or even myself for making some of the most brain-dead mistakes any player can make, I promise I'm having fun. Oh, no. Every Scorpion player does it. It's so frustrating. God, there's no way it should have gotten that close, like honestly. I'm that bad at this fucking video game. No way. Holy shit, it's freezing again! Dude, fix the game! However, one aspect I was really hyped for ended up being a huge disappointment in my opinion, and that would be the game's ranked mode, Kombat League. I really wanted to get into this game competitively, but due to a lot of things I'm not a huge fan of, I find it hard to jump into ranked and not get bored or frustrated. So in this episode of RatedEm, I want to give my opinions on Mortal Kombat 1's ranked mode, and bring up some solutions that I think would make it a lot more enjoyable. Before we start, remember to subscribe. I talk about video games and internet phenomena on this channel, whether it's exploring the history of dead multiplayer games in my So What Happened series, or delving into the weirdest corners of the internet in my Internet Mystery series. I also review individual games from time to time, and I also host live streams right here on this channel, so if any of that interests you, be sure to join our community. Let's also give a quick shout out to our RatedEm VIPs. If you want to be featured at the start of a RatedEm episode, click the join button below. You'll get an exclusive badge and some unique emotes to use in chat and comments. With all that out of the way, let's jump into the video. I'll be honest, writing the script, I tried to start off with some things that I like about Kombat League, and I can only think of really one thing, which is that you can change your Kameo mid-set. I will admit I like that. Aside from that, I really couldn't think of anything else that Kombat League already does that I like, so I'm just gonna start complaining, screw it. The first thing that really irks me about Kombat League is the 1-to-3 format. Mortal Kombat 11 had a best-to-3 format, which in my opinion, was a lot better if they wanted to include any sort of set-based system rather than a single game system. 1-to-3 means that you can play up to 5 games of Mortal Kombat against the same person. The first reason as to why I'm not a fan of this is decision fatigue. As the set goes on, it can be mentally taxing to have to react and punish your opponent for upwards of, 20 minutes, let's call it? Even if I'm stomping someone in the first 2 games and I know I'm gonna 3-0, I feel burnt out by that 3rd game. And hell, they could always win that game, and then I end up having to play another game, and the idea of just wanting the set to be over is going to take priority in my head, and I'm just not going to play my best. Another reason as to why I don't like the longer sets is more so a PC issue than a console issue, but if you remember from my review when I mentioned that the game will try to match game performance between players, that means that if you're playing with someone who has a shitty PC or just a bad internet connection, you're stuck with them for longer. I think that Mortal Kombat 11's 1-to-2 format was just a better fit, especially because even in ranked, Mortal Kombat just has such a casual fanbase. I understand they probably made Mortal Kombat 1's rank to be 1-to-3 to match actual high-level play of MK, but I just think for the average person playing at home on their couch, they should keep the set length shorter. It makes me more willing to play ranked knowing I can play more ranked sets per game session. I don't jump into MK1's Kombat League because I think of how long it can take, and it ultimately turns me off from the idea. I think the second biggest problem I have with Kombat League is the way that ranks work. Currently, everyone starts at Apprentice and has to work their way up. This, in my opinion, is terrible. This means that people who are more deserving of higher ranks get matched with people who aren't expecting the game to even be played the way that higher level players play, and it could just be frustrating. There's a few Reddit and Twitter threads of people asking why there's so many quitters in ranked, and it's probably a mixture of this and the increased set length. I will admit, it's nice that in the lower ranks you can't actually de-rank. This does fight the issue a little bit, but it still doesn't really deter quitters. If they lose or quit, they'll go up. If they win, they'll go up. It really doesn't matter, and if anything, they're still winning because they don't have to give the satisfaction of steamrolling a lower skilled player to the higher skilled player. This is the first time where I'm gonna sympathize with scrubs. It's hard to improve when you don't even know what you're really being hit with. This start from the bottom system also increases the odds of smurfs, which, regardless of if you're good or bad at the game, is frustrating when you're kind of being the victim of a predatory practice. How could NetherRealm fix this? Well, first off, they could make it a placement match system. Although it doesn't really deter smurfs, for the honest players, it definitely separates the skilled players from those who are still learning. I think they could also add more ranks. There's currently 9 in Mortal Kombat 1, which may sound like a lot, but Street Fighter 6 has 7 ranks with 5 tiers to each rank, which totals into 35 divisions for player skill. This better pinpoints where people are in terms of skill in the grand scheme of the online player base, and can also help match those people up with more fair and equal opponents. Well, unless they're using Brock and Cyrax. Come on, you know who you are. Bunch of sick bastards. I do have one more small little request, and that's to scrap the team selection before queuing thing. I love that both players pick from the CSS and casual. It adds a similar feeling as to sitting side by side with someone, which in my opinion is one of the best things about fighting games. The communal aspect of these games, it's what keeps me coming back. I think they did this so that you don't see someone hover over a specific character and immediately quit, which I guess makes sense, but it makes ranked feel a lot less I don't know, personal? Not a fan of it. It's also not a major issue, so I'm throwing it in at the end as a bonus. That's really all I have to say about Kombat League, but please, I'd love to hear your opinions in the comments. Do you think ranked is fine? Is there anything you'd like to change? Let me know, I'm interested.
Finish him.
Yeesh, with the cheese combination? You lost with the cheese combination? Awkward!